Hello, and welcome to the 100th Talking Stick Show. Yay! So we've gone from talking shit to passing the talking stick, and it's been a hell of an adventure, but an incredible adventure. So today I am joined by the infamous, the incredible, so we have the Amy Kruzic. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Dale. Thank you for, this fun show. 100 shows. How amazing.
100 shows.
100 shows. We got to celebrate. And, the balloons, tell it all.
And Amy, have you got your bubbles working yet? She tried to have her bubbles working, but it was a big fail on the bubble situation.
They're stinky bubbles. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Amy. And we have the urban alchemist, the unseen shaker. We have the Maty Waller, and we have Jamila as well to the side of him. Hello, guys.
She's coming.
The cover's being blown. The bubbles are blown.
Hi, guys.
Hello, brother.
So exciting, man. I don't know, how many has it been since we started doing them together? Have you no idea?
I do believe it's coming up to a year and a half. I think we did start. I think Laura started in April last year. Then I think you came on April, May, maybe around about May time. Then we started doing more shows together around about June, July. Then we started doing shows with Andrew in, I think it was the end of September. We had meetings, and October we did the marathon and all of those long shows. We did, first of all, back-to-back shows in October. So yeah, it's been a while, and it's been a graft, but the graft has been amazing for me and for my own growth. So this show is called the Rites of Passage show, guys. We're going to be talking about the story of Talking Stick. We're going to be talking about everyone's experiences here, about their own rites of passage. Because the person who did the first show all those 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, totally different person. I actually spoke to Maty today about it, and I said I was cringing when I was watching the first episode. I was like, what? I was looking at the person then, and I was like, holy fuck, look what's changed. Look how I've grown.
Yeah.
So, Maty, do you want to talk about the rites of passage, and what does a rites of passage mean to you?
Okay. So rites of passage, basically, it's where I think the best way to describe it for me would be an implication of my moral code. So I develop a moral code, and I stick to that moral code. And then as I go along my journey, as long as I stick to that moral code, it doesn't matter the twists and turns of the journey, whether I fail, whether I succeed, or how it happens, in what order. As long as I stick to that code, I progress. And the parts of me that I don't need anymore fall away, and they just gradually fall away, piece by piece, bit by bit, just maintaining that moral code and the disciplines that we adhere to. So rites of passage, it is, isn't it? You could bring everything into that, Dale, couldn't you? Mm-hmm. What isn't rites of passage? I mean, what you eat, what you do at home, how you have your family life, the way you interact with human beings in general, and right down to your sacred disciplines, the power behind your prayer. Everything is a part of that. Yes.
Laura.
We have Laura Massey. Hello, Laura. Are you there?
Can you?
Hi, guys.
So Laura's been having a few gremlins.
Yeah.
Yes,
we can hear you, but there's a delay.
Well, probably because I'm in the middle of Savernake Forest. If this is annoying, I'll turn off the video.
What about turning the video off?
See whether that's any better. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes. I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Maybe
so how are you doing, Laura? Welcome to the show. How are we today?
Can you?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
As for the world. Yes, I can hear you all, the connection, but I'll stay on for as the internet here will allow.
Okay. So Laura is calling from her holidays. What are you doing there, Laura? What's going on with you?
I am chilling with Yaz and Andy, and many of you know that the guys know them because we gave them the combined therapies recently. So we've come away to a famous forest in the UK, and Wiltshire is a landlocked county, southern England, where Stonehenge is and where Avebury is, which is just up the road from a chill and really relax here and just enjoy. I'm in the camper van and so are they. So as I say, if I have to go, I'm sorry about that, but at least I'm here for the moment. And congratulations,
Yes.
Dale,
Yeah.
because
You are here,
that's an
Laura.
incredible
made
achievement. I made it, yeah.
And a question for you, Laura. So when you first did the Talking Stick show, what was a rites of passage for you from then to the now? And is there some inspiration you can give to people out there who are wanting to do this path as well, who are wanting to step up in their own path, have their own show, have their own podcast, week after week, turn up, do the work. Is there any advice you can give to them, Laura?
Yeah, there's so much, isn't there? There's so much. We always say it's the daily practice, it's the inner work. We all know that here. And it's putting yourself out there. We've chosen to step up at this time to do our great work because we want to make our contribution in service to light. And that's what we want to do. And from the first Talking Stick show, I think I'd come on as a guest with you, Dale, over a year ago now. And it's a fantastic platform to reach our sort of audience, which is a lot of them are Andrew's audience as well. And just putting up these shows. I mean, you have put them up just about every week, I think, haven't you, since you've started?
Yes.
And it's parts of the rites of passage is to learn how to present yourself, know your subject, know what you're talking about, and feel it. And you've got to have lived it and made the experiences so that you can talk through your experiences. Andrew always says, it's about what you do. It's not about what you're saying all the time. I mean, we can all read stuff and regurgitate, or learn Andrew's work and regurgitate it. But if you actually go and practice it, then you're going to be able to talk from experience. And I used to practice sometimes just recording myself on a video just to practice. And it started off with Earth Nouveau, with Martina and Amy and Maty back in 2020. When I was nervous, lockdown, and I was so nervous, and even last year, starting with Andrew, I sort of wasn't fully in my body and was a little bit concerned. All the projections as well, and how will I come across? How will I be perceived? But I think we've all done enough work with Andrew now and enough shows to feel much more confident about our delivery and what we're putting across. That's been a real rites of passage for me, that the growing in confidence to be able to come on and talk.
Beautiful, Laura. Beautiful.
And all the wonderful people we've met along the way as well. So say hello to Tina's in the chat room, Morgan, Silver Scorpio, Shane Coker, James Goodsir. Who else have we got in here? Lisa Miller, Annika, if you're out there. Hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. We really appreciate the chat as well, those comments. So, Laura, beautiful, and meeting you a year and a half ago, or even longer, when I met you, and I had that connection to Maty, the connection to Andrew, connection to Amy, and so on. There's a song. One of my favorite songs is called Wolf Clan, and it's a song about finding your own wolf clan. And I remember 3 years ago, I was praying to find my soul family, because the people I met before, I didn't feel they were the right soul family for me. And I felt a bit lost. And I remember praying for month after month. And all of a sudden I got a message from you. Then all of a sudden I met Maty, I met Andrew, and so on, and Amy, and all these incredible people. And it was like, there was part of me which was scared shitless at start about elevating myself to even that next step, because I did all the shows and I was learning, but I started getting guests who I respect all my guests, but I remember Andrew came on and all these different guests, which really pushed my own kind of knowingness, my awareness, my presenter mode, having all of these professionals on who are professional presenters as well. So I had to step up. And it got to the point where I let go of that and I just allow myself just to have fun now, and not seeing it as such a big thing, the show. Like before, I always used to think of the show through the day. I don't really think about it much at all. It's just like the show. I fucking love the show. On, go do it. Bang, done. so Amy, I'd like to bring... So go ahead, Maty.
Adele, why don't we pull back the curtain a little bit on what it's like for us guys? So why don't you tell everybody what it was like for you to start working with Andrew, when you first started to do the video calls, when he was phoning you on a regular basis, to how we are with him now.
Yeah, so I've got a story here. So I had a session with Andrew in 2013, and I was a chicken shit all in 2015, 2016. And I remember I commented on one of the Friends of Andrew Bartzis page, and Andrew actually messaged back saying, "Call in the show tonight." And I was like, "What?" I was there just listening. I never really engaged. And all of a sudden, I remember ringing the show, and I remember I was on for about an hour, just under an hour, the first caller. And that kind of it shook things up for me, because there was this part of this martyr about me, about being in my own, stewing my own self by being a bit of a zealot in the hermit stage. I never really socialized fully, and that was something I was avoiding for so long. So having that I'm able to kind of get out of that hermit zone into this socializing zone and stepping up. And it's hard, like all of the programs, when I started doing shows of Andrew, I had many programs come up for me, because the level he works at and what he talks, and how, like, I'm really close to Andrew now as a friend. And before, when I used to speak to him, I always used to put him on a pedestal. I always used to have to overthink what I was going to say, and not really see him as a human, as he is a human. He is a galactic historian as well. So for me, he's one of the biggest teachers of my life. I can never thank him enough for what he's done for me. It was like I was looking for a teacher out there, and I've looked at a lot of light workers. I was a light worker. I was a recovering light worker. And when I found Andrew's teachings, they felt right, because he always makes sure you're being you. You're not trying to be anybody else or try to imitate anybody else. You're being authentic. And those parts of his teachings have always stayed with me, about truly being myself. So it brought up a lot of shit for me at first, having Andrew on and doing more shows and so on. But that was my inner work and responsibility to do. There were times where it was so hard, like the first year, it got harder and harder, but I kept doing the inner work. I kept doing the work on myself till I was blue in the face. I had a lot of rites of passage in those times. I was a recovering drug addict, say 2 years prior to my first show. So I came into the show recovered from all of this stuff I was going through. So for me, this was a new stage, the next step, the next level for me. So I'd like to bring you in here, Amy, because I know you've just been on new to the show of co-hosting, but you've been on Earth Nouveau. And what's it been like for you on your journey of stepping up and going from there, having your own show now?
I know. Well, it's surreal, because sometimes I can't even believe where I am, if that makes sense. It's like, what is happening? So yeah, Earth Nouveau was a great teacher, is a great teacher. I just remember Earth Nouveau, I was like you, Laura. I was like, I can't speak. I can't do that. And then Maty kind of scared me a little bit with his, like, you have all these things, like, and it felt like you had all these things, like, oh my gosh, he feels like somebody. And then, it's like, yeah, I'm not afraid anymore. But those are the things that you go through. It's like, and then I had to do that. Like, well, why am I? Like, I have to question everything. Question, why am I feeling that way? But I would have to say that this built so much confidence and the effort. I'm going to say effort, determination. And it's not like I'm going hard for it. It's not like I'm trying to force anything. It just happens. And then I get a text from Dale that says, "Would you like to come on my show?" And I'm like, what? Like, what? So I don't know. It's just all these, just think of like box of surprises that happen. That's kind of what it feels like for me, is like these little boxes of surprises. And you kind of realize that, wow, okay, so I have been putting this effort in, and this, courage and this confidence, and, and to have people behind you is just even so much greater. So a support system, because there are times when you go down into that little valley and you think, what am I doing? What is this all for? But deep down, what it's for. If that
and
makes
that's it.
Yeah.
It's finding that support system around you as well, and finding those right friends who want to elevate you and see you succeed instead of being jealous and bitter. Unfortunately, I met a few of my old friends who were like that, and it was nice to see having the friends around me now, and all of you guys. We want each other to grow. This is why I want Amy on the show, because I want her to grow and add to this show as well. And Laura and Maty and Andrew add, and David and so on. So I'd like to bring Maty in here. So what's it been like for you, Maty, from when you first were doing these shows to the now?
Sorry, beg your pardon. Well, my journey's been absolutely transformative. You know, it's I was ready to work with Andrew in as fact as the fact that I had my skill sets and that, but personally and privately I wasn't. And you know, he's such a big influence. Someone's just put some loud music on. He's such a big influence that really you don't get much wiggle room, but he does it in a loving way. So I can see that the kind of person I needed to be in order to be successful in this role is what he carved me into in a very short time. Obviously, I had to do it, but he showed me the way step by step by step. You know, without pushing me too far and and allowing me to make all my own choices. And then naturally, obviously, this process has progressed with it. So, you know, I remember the first time when we were first doing the shows, as soon as it goes live, you can't describe it, but you enter into a completely different state of beingness. It's such a foreign feeling. It goes zoom, and you're aware of who you're with, how many people will be watching in the future, and it's all there in your face. But after a while, I remember just talking with you on the Talking Stick show, Dale, one time where we was just chilling and just talking like friends, you know, and that was it really. It just once I'd been able to just relax into it, it was easy. It's easy because it's all the stuff that we've learned over the years that we've been doing this, and we've been doing this for a long time now collectively, you know.
Beautifully put, Maty. And that's it. Meeting you, Maty, you're an incredible person, and your dedication to the seen and unseen world and your precision in the work you do is, I put my hat off to you, brother. I really do. You amaze me. You amaze me every time, and that's it. And yeah, my hat goes off to you, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I thought you were Joel then, Laura, because you have to.
That's what I thought.
That doesn't sound like Joel.
And in the beginning,
Go ahead, Laura.
She's got a delay.
Oh, right. I was going to say in the beginning, Dale, you didn't have the support. What's it like now? You've got a producer, you've got Andrew and David behind you.
It's so, being brutally honest, I remember having loads of different guests on.
Have we lost Dale and I'm here?
I think we've lost you and I'm here.
What's it like now, Dale, with having a producer?
I think there's a delay, Laura, going on here.
Laura's in the past.
Laura's in the past.
Laura's locked in the past.
So to answer your question, Laura, I'm really, really honoured. And for this path, it was about finding faith. And for everybody listening out there, faith will guide you to miracles. Faith will guide you to... Sorry, Laura, you've got such a delay. Someone might have to message her.
It was about 2 minutes in the past.
Oh, man.
So it's about finding that faith. And for me, when I first started, I had broken faith. And I did work so I could fix that broken faith in the past and start solidifying myself more and more.
Am I really? Okay.
Sorry, what's going on here? All right, we're probably going to have to mute Laura, Joel, just because... and you maybe we'll have to message you.
You're attacking us in the past.
Laura, just mute.
Oh, my goodness.
There we go. So it was that case of me finding a source connection, finding faith. And once I solidified that faith more and more and had the trust journey about people weren't going to stab me in the back, I had friends around me who weren't jealous, who wanted to support me. And it was a new way of life for me. Like, this is a new way of life. I know I've been doing it for a while, but doing it on this platform and doing it to so many people, it comes with different responsibilities as well. Like at the start, If you don't look at your own shit and you don't do your own work when you're doing shows like this, it may be quite hard for you, because the shows will show you about your stuff you're not willing to look at.
Yeah.
And for me, it was all about lack. It was all about not really valuing myself. So I had to go through that journey of doing the hours and hours of going back and clearing out that lack. And once I cleared out that lack more and more, I felt more source connected. And there's times where I do pray, where I ask for help when I'm in need. And I see prayer now as my process of really evolving. Like I can just go into a prayer out of nothing. And before 4 years ago, I couldn't do that. And these are the teachings of Andrews. This is being friends of him, learning from him, and really stepping up to being myself. Is there anything you want to add to that, Amy?
Yeah. I agree with everything. It is part of the process. But what I wanted to tell you, Dale, was just, I love, and just what you just said, it's your vulnerability is really what got me. It's like, this guy, you just really just speak from your heart, and you're just so vulnerable. And I remember a show, I think it was Debbie Smart, you were interviewing her. And I'm like, well, who is this guy? Because there is something about you that maybe you don't realize that is just very special to people.
Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to evolve in, to the point where being honest and open about who I am is my power and it's my protection. And there were so many times at the start of my journey, in my light working process, where I put on a mask. I wanted to heal the shit out of people. I was living a lie, basically. And it started learning about how important the sacred feminine is for a male, how important being a feminine person as well is for the male, having that loving connection, having space for people, listening to people, respecting people. That was some of the things I've learned in the last few years more and more, how to really respect people and understand how important it is to allow people to grow.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. We're giving everyone a platform, everyone to watch this and learn their own process. So you can have your own show. You can have your own guests on as well if you want to do it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to me now and wanting to always in the back of your head wanting to do a show, then do it. Then stop the procrastination and start moving forward, because I shit myself when I did the first show. And here we are today, the 100th show.
Yeah.
I have some regular guests who are incredible teachers, incredible humans, and some powerful shamans as well as the co-host. So here we are. This 100 shows. These balloons I got today from Laura and Amy and
Maty, everybody.
So after I did sorry, Amy, after I did my session, I went out and I saw them in the hallway, and there was just this beautiful feeling of like, I'm grateful. I really am.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, no. And I think it's just paying attention to those little blind spots that you have, because procrastination is a big part. You know, I had to work on that a lot, because you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't need to do that, or you just make excuses for yourself. And that does not help your growth at all. You know, so you have to kind of like push through that, not in like a forced way, but just be like, no.
And there will be times, Amy, where you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You don't really fancy doing a show.
Yeah.
But turning up and having that, learning the skill of turning it on, turning the frequency on. How before I remember the first shows of Andrew, it was like I asking so many lightworker questions and I was so stuck. I was like thinking what questions to say. But now it's just innately, as I go on the show, I can turn it on. And it's a comfortable on where I'm opening kind of my heart, my frequency, and I'm not allowing myself to kind of like go backwards. Before I was hiding a little bit. Now it's like I'm here. I'm showing everyone who I am now. I'm not scared. I was worried at the start of the shows about people and what they thought. Projections as well, Maty. Do you want to talk about projections, and for those who are wanting to do show, and what's your processing on projections?
Well, it's interesting how they work, because one of the things is that psychic attack comes in so many different forms, and it generally feels the same way, but whether you have the skills to investigate it, it's a strange sensation, but some of them can be quite severe. And so if you're a person who has, thousands of people watching you every week, at moments of low energy, those thousands of people are not all looking at you and appreciating what you're doing. And even if they are appreciating what you're doing, there might be some sort of form of a fantasy process or an ego process that's going on, that's running, that's projecting into that. And then we feel that energy. All of that comes into our auras and into our dreams and into, into our bodies if it gets really, really bad. And so, yeah, projective energy is something that I tend to maintain, but only because of the regular type of practice that I have. I know you yourself, Dale, you've suffered from some of these, right? And it can come on like an actual entity attack, right? It can almost feel like the culmination of these projections forms into a sentient consciousness and attacks you in a way that, is
it's like it's a haunting. It feels like
very
a
much
haunting. And I remember at one point when I started doing the shades of Andrew, there was like an anxiety, like I started feeling anxious, and I'm like, it was going on in the background, but I knew it wasn't me. I could tell. And I remember ringing Andrew and I was like, I feel really anxious and I feel quite down and a bit depressed. And he was like, because you're not, because of all these projections, hundreds of people projecting at you a certain frequency, and you're allowing that shit in. So I was like, holy fuck. Then I was just thinking, looking to the next show, I'm like, fucking hell, it's just going to go on forever. Mm-hmm. But when I started to harden my energy and started to learn to not be the zealot, because part of me was a light worker in the past who wanted to heal everyone, let everyone into my frequency, be the empath and so on. There was a process for me in the last 6 months where I'm like, no, there's a hardening of me where I'm not allowing people in. Even when I'm triggered, I don't allow the projections in. At times they will come in and I do the work for that, but I'm not affected anymore in that way by it because I've hardened myself enough. And that was a big process for me, like learning from Maty, because Maty hardens himself a lot, has a lot of protection, shields himself. And I know me and Laura spoke a lot about these projections. Laura, do you want to come in here and talk about your experience with them?
Can you hear me?
It's Laura, how many minutes in the past is Laura? Should we count? 1, 2.
Just go, Laura. Just go. We'll wait.
Go.
Am I coming yet?
Yes. Go ahead. Did you hear the question?
Okay, just talk. Okay. So, yeah, in the beginning, I had a... Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've still got a bit of a delay going on there.
I had a lot of...
So, Maty, do you want to add to that?
And I felt very, very attacked. Something wasn't right. I didn't feel good. And I knew I was being attacked at some level or another.
So I think Laura's got a bit of a delay, and hopefully we'll be able to sort that out and she'll be back on to speak.
Can I just add? I don't. If she starts talking, it's okay. Can I just add about how I had no idea, but Dale specifically came to me and said when I started my shows about projections, like that is just how loving and sweet and all you guys are, because it's like, watch out for those, like build a write a revocation and build that around you, because I would not have known that. I'm still kind of like I don't know, maybe I'm still a teen, I don't know. But it's kind of like that's what you do for people that support you.
Yeah. And building your strengths against those.
Go ahead, mate.
Building your strengths against those kind of things. You've got to do that. It starts with the self. Now, external things you can protect yourself from, but as you progress on the journey, it's the internal things that are going to arise to cause you the most amount of trouble. That never really stops. And like Dale was saying, it's interesting because when you get to that point, let's say you learn to fortify yourself from things like external projections, you have to do that by producing more light through whatever processes, whatever disciplines you choose to use. And when you get to that point where you are producing that amount of light, then that light has a different effect. And so like Dale will find, he'll be around people and now you're actually producing demonic entities, things like this, stuff that some serious ancestral stuff that will come up and come out at you, like, and so there's always the next level of responsibility and the next level of responsibility and the next level after that. It never ends. Great mysteries never solved. It just goes on and on. Always students, right, Dale?
Always do.
Yes, it definitely did. And we actually had, I'll tell this story, I'm not going to mention any names, but we had an entity, and we had a demon who was watching the show through someone who got someone to call in, and it wanted a Wild West with me in a session. And it was funny because I got Andrew in this session with this demon, and Maty came in the day after to help out. And it was a real understanding about what's out there. But for me, it was about not getting lost in it, because I'm not going to lie, the last few weeks in my clients, I've had a lot of depressed people. There's not judging that at all. I've had a lot of people with demons and ghosts, person after person after person. And it was a big lesson for me. And like Maty says, there is that sort of responsibility about increasing the light around you, not having any doubt at all, knowing you've got friends around you who can come in and help you out. And that was the biggest thing for me, knowing I could ring Maty, knowing I could ring Andrew or Laura. Just asking for that advice and help is very important. So my advice through all what I've just said then is find your clan. Find those people who will love you. Find the people who will listen to you and support you. And a lot of people hang around with people who don't have the best interest for them. And I see this time and time again, people coming and do shows, then they drop like flies. And it's just great to find the soul family and have that frequency with all of you. It's like that pheromone, we're all attracting each other and having this soul family reunion on the 100th show.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
How are we doing, Laura?
Yeah.
Are you back into this timeline yet?
I hope so. Am I now? Am I here?
You sound much better, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So really interesting to listen to all of you. What to my past self that was speaking just now and saying that I remember when I started to do the shows with him, and we were also doing Talking Stick at the same time. He said, "Have to up your protection. You're going to have to do that extra many more viewers and so many people who their unseen world, whether they're taking a piece of you, putting those projections on you." And it's something Dale and I, we had to step up and do that. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling I had, I guess, like being haunted, really, as I think Dale said earlier. And it's part of the response to when you do these public broadcasts. It's part of something you have to do. Because you couldn't hear me earlier. Dale was saying I think about it in a minute. Okay, come back to me in a minute.
No
Sorry.
problem, Laura. Take your time. And connecting to that, listening to that, it reminded me of honesty, asking for help, asking others around you, finding the right teacher, finding the right healer out there, because everyone needs help. No matter who you are, you need a mentor. No matter who you are, you need someone to come in and help you out, check in, look in areas you're not willing to look at. That part of the human process has been lost. And it's about reconnecting to that process again, not going into ego when you start getting the skills and you have a teacher who's showing you those skills. And like a lot of fuckers try and imitate and overtake and start stabbing them in the back as soon as they start learning more and more. It's about being responsible in all ways, seeing how your words and your message creates within people and how people feel when you talk as well, observing yourself, not giving yourself out too much. Is there anything you want to add to this, Maty?
Well, I was just thinking that what we've been through because I don't want to say too much, you know, but what we've been through as a group, especially when we're doing the healing sessions, people might think it's all glamour and glitz, but I tell you, we need each other and we have each other's backs, and together we are a formidable team. And I tell you this now, if we weren't all there together working in the way we did, then we would have been hit hard. And there have been scary moments, haven't there, Dale? There has been stuff, and Laura, right? There have been scary moments, right? No, but we are so strong. Yeah. And that's because we are together. And yeah, I don't want to get too sentimental, but it's watching how it works and just the fortifications that we have, and how some people are good at one thing, some people are good at another, some people are good at another thing. And when you bring all these things together and you have them as a functioning group, it's unstoppable.
Oh, absolutely. Beautifully. The other thing I was going to say, Dale, going back to preparing for shows and being nervous. And I used to have a load of notes, especially on and a load of notes pinned all around the computer. And I realised that it was just, part of me wasn't there, a bit like tonight, I've been in the past, but it's making sure you're grounded and fully present, on a show. And it's before a show, if you're nervous, that sort of energy is going to scatter your energy. Over the time now, I do a bit of research, I don't know if I or something, mind you can do a bit of research and listen to his past shows, and he'll come up with something totally you can write some questions, but he then go on a complete because he's always got something new to share, hasn't he? He's always got another perspective on it. It's like, Dale, I don't really prepare for the shows other than I do the normal protection and the normal daily practice, and maybe a bit of quiet time or meditation as possible. But the most important thing, I think, going forward is to get yourself grounded, and all of you is present at the show.
Yeah. And we can't forget the grand snoring bear, who is currently snoring away, I think, in foreign land.
Between, I think he's
and working with him as well. And the thing with Andrew is that he, we may plan things, but very rarely does anything ever go as planned. So we've had to learn to be ready to just flip on the coin and change plans. And that's kind of how these shows progress, right? But it's taught us, over planning, you just set yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those people who suffer with confidence, it's about turning up and doing it, continuing to do it, even if you are nervous. Step up again, do the next show, do the next show, do the next show, until it becomes innate. It's just part of you, and you've learned this mastery of it, where you're in full presenter mode. You're able to just go into a unique flow of the self. You're able to have fun. You're able to not have any seriousness about you, or some seriousness, but just allow that kind of locomotion of a show and all the energies it produces. So anything you want to add to that, Amy?
Well, I would like, it's so funny because the word expectations came up. And when I look back at my journaling, like say a year ago, there was nothing like what I'm doing now. There was nothing that I wrote in that said anything about doing a show. It said something, there was a little bit of message of a book. But so this is my book. This is how I'm telling my story through shows. I would have never. That's my take on what I've written in the past. So it's like, honestly, I wasn't focused on a book, but somewhere I was focused on telling my story, or telling, presenting who I am and showing my vulnerabilities and my confidence and how I had to build up on that. So so I don't know if you guys ever experienced.
Laura and I did exactly the same thing.
Did you?
Yeah, Laura and I did exactly the same thing. We decided we was going to write a book with some of the teachings that we'd learned and get them all down. And then within a few weeks, that book had gone from this to this to this to this to a bus tour. Yeah. It's just like the way it goes.
And to be fair, none of that was wasted, because we used so much of the material in the book, but also looking back, I'm sure Maty would agree with what we wrote then. We've got have a new perspective in the future. So in some ways, you can write a moment book, but you want one that's a legacy and one that lasts. So I don't know actually get to a book.
Breaking up really bad.
Have I broken up?
Turn the video off, Laura. Might be a bit better.
Try again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Much better.
Okay. So you could actually see when I was speaking. So also there's, going back to what you're saying, there's a lot of people out there of talent and a lot of wisdom to share, like Amy. Look how Amy's come on, and she's so many people have got stuff, their own perspective, not ours, maybe a take on that, and they're putting it forward with their own signature frequency. To have more people out there doing more shows to make the community more share in this community with each other's wisdoms.
Exactly. I agree. That's great, Laura. Yeah, because you just build upon it. Like Maty said, you build upon and build upon and build upon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's I just think people are nervous of doing their own show or putting videos out there, but you just practice with them on your Facebook page, like Dale does it all the time. He advertises his practice. You get better. You get more confident about your product.
Can you hear me okay, guys? My mic's
yeah.
That's it, Laura. Even if you've got I did have gremlins before, but it seems to be okay now. So that's it. All it takes is a laptop, even a phone, just something you can have where you can stream live, or you can do something on Facebook. You can do a show pretty much on so many platforms. It's about starting. Yeah. And there's so many people I see as practitioners, as teachers, and they don't have their own show. They don't show themselves publicly. And for me, I see it as sometimes quite a big limitation for your own marketing skills, for people to see you on a bigger scale, for people to get to know who you are as well as a personality. So all it takes is a camera. And if you're listening now and wanting to start your own show, get people on about sharing their stories and experience. You could even have a Rites of Passage show, just something allowing story to be teachings. And that's what I do. That's what Amy does, Maty and Laura. We do the teachings through our own story, for our own validation. We're not just by saying what Andrew does and just saying it. We're actually experiencing it, doing the work for it.
Yeah.
And the joy in it. When I used to do the prayer service, which I'd like to do again some days, I enjoyed writing that and speaking it so much to me that I was able to express my particular talents, my particular view of great mystery and great spirit. I think like that, where you don't necessarily have guests on, you can read prayers. There's so many things putting that language out there. And Andrew always talks about the now, which is the language that carries so many of these frequencies and everything that we're all working within the celestial medium of peacekeepers. We all here, I know, like to use Andrew's particular carries so much energy behind the words. So you're not just reading your words, you're actually carrying this frequency and building on these frequencies consciousness.
Wow. Yeah, that's great, Laura. I love that you said just you can be your own show. You can just go on and just say your prayers and just tell your story.
And enjoy. You've got to enjoy it. I know it's a bit nerve-wracking at first shows now.
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of
so much pleasure
yeah.
from them.
It is kind of funny to look back at them. I don't think I have the courage to look back at my shows, but I probably should because they're probably hilarious to me now. You know, you have to laugh, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself. Come on. You know?
Overseers just ruins it.
Yes, you have to laugh. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of like, I think I finally have, and I hope to make 100 shows, Dale. Yes. Inspiration.
You will.
Inspiration.
Yes.
I need 100 guests.
And even dealing with the trolls and all of the people who don't want you to succeed, and you know, we've had some talking shit shows in the past, and all of those people who want to bring others down, and you will experience that in some form if you start doing shows and having a lot of listeners. You will have people who hate themselves enough to do that. And we've experienced that. We've experienced people trying to belittle the show, belittle Andrew and so on. And for knowing Andrew and spending a lot of time with him, it's just all bullshit. And we've been able to get through that and become stronger. Yeah. It actually made us all stronger. And that's the funny thing about it. All of that shit made us stronger. And we learned a hell of a lot from it. So, yeah, it felt like a win-win in all ways. Yeah. Because we just kept going and we just kept doing it. And it was like a fart in the wind at one point. When one thing came out, it was just another fart and another fart, until the point where the farts kind of disappeared.
You fart back at me now.
I mean, can I share my experience as far as having a show and then having a new show within months? Like, because you learn from so I had 8 episodes of a show. And it wasn't going the way that I thought it should go for me and my growth. And with all your support showed me that. And I was able to leave that in such a short time, you know, that you don't. Okay, so my thing to learn was my commitment to it, thinking commitment meant forever, you know, forever. And it doesn't. It doesn't. It's commitment to self.
Yeah.
What do you want to do for your growth? So I just have to throw that out there, because there may come a time where you're like, okay, I'm done with this. If you're working with someone else like I did, and you know, maybe sometimes it's just good to do it on your own. And there's David. That's my producer.
Snoring Bear's here as well.
The Snoring Bear and David have just appeared.
Hello.
Andrew.
So we welcome
Hello,
Andrew
everyone.
and David
Yes.
onto the show.
So Laura, how's that go working out for you? 2-minute delayed.
Background.
Did you hear it? It was
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, it was quite hilarious. It was very hilarious. It was multidimensionally ironic.
So Andrew,
Somebody who
was telling me because I've still got a bit of a delay.
said the person 2 minutes behind who tries to be 10 minutes ahead. Yeah, that's the irony. That's the irony.
The prophecy of the Snoring Bear, Laura. You just got told then.
Exactly. Well,
How are you doing, Andrew?
I am sitting at gate 86 in Toronto Pearson Airport because my flight does not leave for another 6 hours. So I figured I'd come on. I finally found someplace quiet where I could actually talk and not have like 1,000 people and voices over the intercoms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Outstanding. David, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, happy 100th birthday. This show has had many
Thank
names:
you.
talking shit, talking sex, talking
Fucking unicorn.
oh my god, but it has survived the test of time. Andrew, what are you drinking?
Gatorade.
All right, you're in Toronto. You better drink
Powerade.
Gatorade.
Yeah, Powerade.
Yeah, you better drink that Gatorade. You're in Toronto.
No
I've
shit.
got a question for Andrew and David, and we'll start with you, David. What does a rites of passage mean to you?
What do you mean, generally, or in this?
In general, and in your life as well, from your own experience.
A rite of passage is it's really a rebirthing of the self into something else. Okay, so a rite of passage could mean something as simple as you going through some shit, like the man shit, right? For those of us who have children, I'm not mentioning any names. All right. That's a rite of passage. Some of us never went through that rite of passage. Yay. All right. And for others, it's a more formal kind of thing with a ceremony and whatever else, right? But I think we all go through rites of passage, whether we like it or not, right? And we're all going to go through one at the end of this lifetime, right? Nobody gets out of this system alive. I like to say.
And at the end of it, they're like, well, let's show you your rites of passage. What happened? Here you go. Here's your life review.
Oh, I've been through many rites of passages. Amy was talking about doing her own show and getting bathed in fair, and then coming out of that fair, and now we have a full sparkling purple wall behind her. That was a hell of a rite of passage. You know, that's standing at the edge of the cliff, and then somebody comes and pushes you off the cliff.
No.
Right? There's that rite of passage. For me, my rites of passage could have been something as simple as getting out of the whole business idea and moving back into spirituality. That was a rite of passage right in and of itself, right? You could be hiding somewhere else, but all of us are now out in public. We are public figures, right? We are all public figures at some shape, and we had to come over something to get it done. We had to get through something to get it done, whether it was nervousness or whether it was, I don't know what to speak about. And then you come on the show and we just talk shit. Because that's a rite of passage.
Two talking shit shows.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to be on this show, you have to learn to shit talk, right?
Yeah. Thank you, David. And Andrew, same question for you.
All right, so let's break down the word right. R-I-T-E-S, R-I-T-E, R-I-G-H-T-S, rights. The R-I-T-E-S of passage is something we all go through in earning, learning, and relearning what it takes to be an adult human with adult concepts. Now, there are younger rites of passage, such as puberty, etc. But these rites of passage that we're referring to are the grander journey rites that you've earned, learned, relearned over and over again through trial and error, forgiveness and forgetfulness, and those daily practice things you never give up on. And then there are rights, R-I-G-H-T, of passage. Mm-hmm. Things we get given to us by the government, like driver's license, passport, cash, voting, etc. The difference between a right, R-I-T-E-S, and the rights, big difference, isn't there? When you earn, learn, relearn something over and over and over again, it isn't given to you. That's the main thing. And for me, when it comes to watching all of you guys go through your rites of passage, I don't know, that first couple of shows, I kept telling you the most important thing. A decent chair, good mic, decent lighting. You don't need to have anything more than that. The gremlins will come no matter how hard you tried to stop them. It'll always come down to a cable that's going to screw your life up. One wire, one cable, okay, that you won't be able to go and get, and it's out of your control, but have fun on the show. They're going to fuck up. Don't worry. I fucked up everything way worse than you guys ever did before.
So a question, Andrew. So from when you first were doing shows, from the first show you did to the show now, what's some advice you could give to those who are wanting to start their own show?
Are you a regurgitator teacher or a teacher? Are you not a teacher? Are you just a way shower? Are you just there to have fun? If you don't know that, don't do it. Period. And if you're a regurgitator teacher, admit it. I take what other people say and I teach them how to say what they just heard. That doesn't mean you know how to do it. Okay? Comedy works like that just fine, as do many other situations. But in spiritual teachings, regurgitating teachers are some of the worst. And why is that? Because they don't know what they're actually talking about. Okay?
No wisdom behind it.
No wisdom behind it. The next thing is, if you can't stand in the fire, don't go into the fire. If you are a person that thumps your chest in the background, but as soon as the lights come on, you sink back with stage fright, you shouldn't be doing this job. Next thing is, there's not a lot of money into it, unless you're willing to work your ass off so fucking hard that you will think their slave jobs are better than this shit. The next thing is, if you don't love working your ass off so hard that you don't want to go back to your slave job, don't do this job. Because it's only the hard work that pays off. It's only the hustle muscle that pays off. And it's not about view counts. It's about individual people. How much you can connect to them, how much you can help them go through their changes, the types of things that come back to you through, your thing. You are not just the head of your own company. You're the CEO. You're the tech officer. There's no one there that's going to help you. No one's going to write your emails. No one's going to do your email capture list. No one's going to determine what goes up and down on your website other than you. If you don't want to be your own boss and don't want to be a self-starter and don't want to do all those things that you saw in job titles, quit being a podcaster. But if you think you can, I will advise you to quit again until you're really ready to make the commitment, which is, I'm going to make lots of mistakes. I'm not going to feel like I've been successful at this very much. And the only way for me to get successful is to make more mistakes and more mistakes until such a time I've earned, learned, and relearned how to keep an audience.
And you can tell straight away when someone has earned, relearned, and earned in so many ways, because you can hear it in their voice. You can hear that kind of authentic flow and that their own heart. And that's why opening your heart into these shows, not fully, but just allowing a space of listening, respect, honor, passion, and happiness. How can you allow those to be part of you? Twice a week we do shows, every week, next show. And I'm going to be brutally honest here. I've never regretted coming on the show or thought, oh, fuck, I've got a show. I've never felt like that. And I did feel like that at work. I remember those days rolling to the restaurant thinking, oh, fuck. And I've never felt like that.
Or ready to quit at the restaurant, but you stayed there all day.
Yes. Like, fuck's sake, what time is it? I watch it all the time.
Okay.
I have a question. How did we all end up here?
Me.
Great mystery. The great man.
Liz Finn here.
Yeah.
Finn.
Great and universal prophecy of the snoring bear.
Drew's the common denominator, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Laura's come from the past.
Laura's from the past.
Laura.
Coming from the past again. It was so good because you had at least a minute delay. There was like a full minute on your delay.
So yes, the great snoring bear brought you all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is
He was
hilarious.
snoring under a tree somewhere in some multi-dimensional space.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? So Andrew, how did the snoring bear prophecy get to light?
On the bus trip. I was in the back snoring, and I think Jamila made a comment, and I go, no, I'm the great snoring bear. It's my prophecy. It was just like snap, like instantaneous. I am the great snoring bear. And then it turned into Snoring Bear was going to make a book with all the unique prophecies. Special, you will hear a bear snore coming out of the west, and you will know it's time to dream again. Those classic lightworkers prophecy comments.
People that have not met Andrew don't know why it's so funny.
Great Snoring Bear says, here's your quote.
So why don't we talk about mistakes? Because I think this is a big thing, and something for my growth was I'm going to make so many mistakes, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes and not allow the mistakes to change you or hold you back or you just give up. I'd like to bring you in here, David. and to talk about mistakes and how important it is to learn from it and continue on.
How much time you have? Because goddamn. Okay, so we can have a litany of mistakes. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is the people mistakes. Okay, like you would like to. A lot of people don't want to step onto the stage and be in public because there's the people mistakes that you make. So, as an example, this community is like any other community. It's going to be filled with good people, great people, and then it's going to be filled with people who are here just to pull you down, and that's what stops a lot of people, the fear of being attacked, from stepping forward. And when you're talking about rites of passage, all of us has had to actually face that wall and jump over that wall regardless, because we're in a particular industry, or we're talking about subject matters which are not the mainstream. So there are going to be people who are against that mainstream, okay? And there are going to be people who are in the mainstream who have judgments and stuff. But I see all of y'all stood forward and so on. I remember having a talk with a bear once, and we were wondering the test of time. Like it's been a long time, and we've seen a lot of people come and go. And the people who are here with smiles on their face, cracking jokes and so on, are the people that lasted, right? It doesn't, I have this saying that I like to share with you guys. It doesn't matter where you are now, it's where you end up that matters. Not where you are, it's where you end up. And a lot of people miss that point. And so, yeah, here we are. And all the mistakes in terms of associations or whatever else, they've cleaned themselves out. And the sky's the limit. Elevator going up for everybody. Look at that big 100 behind you. 100 shows. Do you understand that?
I did the wrong way first because it flips around. I'm like, oh shit.
My man, you've done 100 shows. Do you understand what 100 shows is? That's a landmark.
Yeah. He's my inspiration, David.
Thank you, Amy.
How long did it take you to do 100 shows?
3 years. I
had 100 shows done in like 3 months.
Yes, there you go. And but this is working and learning from you, Andrew. And what I've learned is, like, I remember when I first started doing shows with you, I was thinking, how the fuck are we going to think about doing a show twice a week, thinking of content over and over again? Then there was like a knowingness of a full infinite amount of information out there, what we can speak about.
Whoa. You don't remember going, what are we going to make a plan? I'm like, no, we're winging it. Aren't we going to make a plan?
Yes.
No, we're winging it. And Maty, I have to have everything pre-planned. Everything pre-planned. I can't do nothing without a pre-planned show.
Yeah,
we used to call Andrew the turnaround. We always used to the U-turn. That was it. I called it the U-turner.
Were you actually going to plan content? You would have never got to 100 if you planned content. 100 shows means you had 100 original things to say every week. That means you had 100 original things to say. That in and of itself is a landmark.
I remember watching Maty quietly melt down in the background when plans would change. It was so funny.
Yes.
Maty, do you want to come in here and add your 2 cents to it?
Well,
about mistakes.
Absolutely.
And what you went through.
I mean, it's exactly what it said. I had to go through so many changes in order to do this. It was all completely necessary, but it was right from the word go. It was this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and it's about having that confidence. But for me, when I finally was able to let loose of that control, not only did it help to do this, but it helped in so much other parts of my life, especially the work that we do, the healing work. And I see how important it is. When I first met Andrew as a person, I knew he had the element of chaos behind him, obviously from working with the shows. Meeting him in person, that chaos was still there, but I can totally see where the chaos comes from, because it's allowing a flow, it's allowing a pattern. It's not giving any room for things to come in and limit the experience.
That one man's chaos is another man's connection.
Exactly that, you know, and and so I've learned a lot in this short time. There's lots of other denser stuff as well, but I don't want to go into all of that. But put it this way, I've had to go through my however many nights it was in the desert, that's for sure.
So I think
those lonely Maty nights.
Yeah.
One thing with Andrew is you have to think on your feet. Forces you into your wisdom storage rather than you might know or anything you've got written down. That's what I learned early on. Think on your develops your wisdom. That's what you did it for, Andrew. I'm teaching in itself the fact that you did a few U-turns. Dale used to call you U-turn.
Sure.
Like, holy shit, what's going on here? My little program.
What did you learn from the U-turns?
that I fully surrendered into freedom, and I realized all these programs who overworked me or wanted control had no place here anymore, and they didn't have any place for my growth. And all of the pissed offness or frustration that it changed into not frustration, allowing it, being in the now moment, knowing that everything can change in any moment, and change is so natural for our growth, and change is one of the best things we can possibly do. And before I was scared shitless of it, I wanted to do the same shit over and over again. This is how the people who stay at home all the time, they just want to be in that comfortable space over and over again. And when I started meeting and doing shows with you, Andrew, Maty, Laura, everyone, David, I had to change. I had to allow myself to change and really accept who I am, and not even like I've said at the start of the show, having friends who support you is so important. People who are not jealous, people who want to lift you up, give you space to talk. That's so important, because we lose those human skills, and those are one of the most important human skills we can possibly have. Respect for each other, and not allowing us to shit on each other when one of us gets successful, or you have this over sense of jealousy. Work on it until you allow acceptance to come through, and know that everyone has a unique individual signature frequency they bring to the table. Everyone is different in such a unique way, because everyone's gone through so many different rites of passage. We all share different stories, and our stories are ready to be shared with you listening. And I am inspired from all of you. I really am. You're incredible people, smart people who have made me a lot smarter than I was before.
Remember, Dale, what I said to all you guys at the beginning? We're going to collaborate. And then you started broadcasting your show on my channel, and I started broadcasting my show on your channel. And we started crossing over. And then David's doing the same thing with everybody else, just so we're all sharing and collaborating with our advertising space. I want to bring David in here to talk about the overview of how that all works together when people collaborate from the top to the bottom, and what it does for everyone.
Yeah, I remember the first time I put out shows, period. And I kept stressing collaboration over competition, okay? Because Maty made a very interesting point there, and so did Dale. Everyone has a unique signature frequency that they're bringing to the table, okay? Not any of us are the same. We are different in different ways, okay? And the collaboration is what allows for expansion. There are a number of people. You remember, Andrew, when we first started doing outreach, we reach out to people and we say, we're trying to do something. So we will promote anybody that's inside the community. I made mistakes. Like, I put out a call to action to everybody. Okay? Yeah, that was a mistake. In case you're wondering, I put out a call to action to everybody. And you had people who believe they want to protect this and they want to protect their little space of 5 people, all right? And it's collaboration. So I have no problem with regard to the idea that if somebody has a show and so on, you reach out and you connect to that person. but I think a lot of people live in little enclaves which they would like to stay in, right? So I'm on their show, they're on my show, and so on, and we collaborate, we cross-pollinate, and we give technical advice with regard to people and so on. We assist. Why? Because collaboration of a competition, if you are in this competition mode, you will not get anywhere. There are people who refuse to assist other people and so on. Like Amy and I had a situation even, right? You allow people to proliferate. You do that because they have something to say and something that you may not have to say, okay? Each one of these shows has a unique frequency about it. Like Amy's show, that is hilarious. Let me tell you.
It's
all right. And the Talking Stick
fun.
show, that is one of the most versatile shows I have seen anywhere. Right? And it's versatile because Dale allows people to collaborate with him. Okay, so you have different perspectives and so on. We talked about everything from sex to everything else, right? To shit. Sex to shit.
Sex and loads of phalluses.
The name of a new show, right? We talked about everything under the planet, and it's the collaboration that allows for growth. And now, look at what we're doing. The things that we never thought we revived that modular system. It actually ran. Scotland tour, it ran. No barriers and so on. And this was done with collaboration. It was not done in the spirit of competition. So really, props to everybody.
Beautifully put, David.
Yeah.
Amy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, that was beautiful. I just totally agree with that. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about it that each one of us brings each other. I don't know, want to say raises up, but it almost does. It's kind of like it. I don't know. It feels like this magical bubble, not in a bubble, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It's just so beautiful.
And an example would be, say, me and Maty, like we're both psychic surgeons, we're both soul surgeons. Yeah. We do totally different things, but similar things. And there's never once ever been a slight slice of competition with him, because I love him and I appreciate of his mastership and how incredible he is as a psychic and as a healer. And it's about having this nuance of this new way of thinking like that. If we want to be able to have communities, or we want to be able to come together as soul family, we have to do this. We have to drop the competition in that way. We have to help each other out. When someone needs help, we offer that help. There has to be that fine line of respect, of course. But that's what these shows are for, like welcoming David, welcoming Amy, everyone who's come on, giving them a platform to talk, because that's the essence of this show, the talking stick. I'm giving you the talking stick to talk your own truth without judgment, without any expectations of what you're saying. And it's thank you guys for everything. I really do appreciate it. And all the listeners as well who've supported. If you have any questions in the chat as well, drop them in. If you want to give anybody a question here about our own journey, our own rites of passage, put them in the chat.
Yeah. So what does the next 100 shows look like to you, Dale? Do you have any kind of future in that, for that vision?
I'd say the next 100 shows is elevating myself, the shows, even more and more and more. Then the next
he will have controlled his cake compunction by then.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to admit it. I've got a problem. Cake problem.
Cake.
Yes. He's going to have to join Confectionaries Anonymous.
Is that why you did this celebration, so that you could have an excuse for cake?
Yeah. So I do love cake, guys, and I bake myself cakes now. I don't go to the shop, but I did have a bit of a stage where I ate quite a few cakes. And
he baked. No, you understand? He baked his first cake yesterday. He doesn't have his 30-day coin yet. Okay.
My man.
Well, there's this song, Dale, Cake on the Ocean. Try that kind of cake.
Yes.
You know the
Yeah.
song? Okay. That might be better. That might be more healthy for you. Cake by the ocean.
So Dale, you have a cake addiction, so much so that you went from a user to you dealing cake now. You're making your own cake and
Yeah.
Goes to the source.
What the hell is going on, man? Let's talk about it.
So for me, it was coming out of drug addiction, doing healing for a few years, of self-work on myself for 2 years, going into more of the advanced stuff. It was a program, and it's something what I've taken with me for a long time. And it's just a part of me where I felt like I need the nourishment of eating something like that and the enjoyment out of it. But I've realized over the last few weeks that it was a program, and it was something what was defeating me. And now looking back at it, hindsight, I feel free. I feel like I've been enslaved, throwing all this money left, right, and center.
It's 2 days, Dale. 2 days.
I'm changing, man. I say it here on the 100th show. I'm not going back to that mode again, because it's cost me a lot of money, a lot of my time. Like Andrew says, every time I talk to him on the phone, I'm on way to shop or on the way back.
Your son's birthday's tomorrow. Is he going to have cake?
I'm making
homemade cake.
I'm making the cake.
Okay.
And I'm having one piece. That's it, one piece.
That's what they said.
Right, let's bring Laura in, because Laura likes cakes as well. I need some support here.
Yeah, I like cake too, Dal, and we tour because we were able to have coffee and cake quite regularly, and we weren't going to miss out.
I know how to cure you of your cake addiction.
How?
Put Marmite as the icing.
He would like that. Dale would like that.
Yeah, we
Yes.
Andrew's eating Marmite with honey.
I
A
got
lot of
Andrew
people don't know
hooked
what
on Marmite
Marmite
and
is.
peanut butter.
A lot of people don't know what Marmite is. For those of you who don't know what Marmite is, if you've ever in England or in Europe, because we don't get it a lot in North America. Andrew, have you ever seen that in the stores?
In the stores in the States? No, never.
Yeah.
But then again, I was never looking for it either.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So will you be
We had
now,
a hard
Andrew?
time wowing Andrew, didn't we, Laura? It's very hard to wow
Will
Andrew.
I be actively looking for Marmite? No.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I always look for it.
I remember
is
you
it?
saying, David, actually,
It's
before.
vitamin B in raw form. Okay, they made a product out of it, right? It's a high dose of vitamin B, and it's kind of like it's the first time you taste it is the most disgusting thing you have ever tasted. Okay, and then you think, I'll give it another chance, and then all of a sudden you're putting it on your toast, you're putting it everywhere.
No cheese.
Like you're mixing it in your cooking, you're doing everything with that thing.
I had it for
Yeah,
school
hot
every day.
Oh,
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too, Maty.
Every day.
We're brought up with Marmite
Mhm.
soldiers, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Peanut butter form?
No.
No,
Paste of vitamin B.
just paste.
It's yeast extract.
Yeast
I think
extract.
it's a byproduct from the brewing industry, I think. But it's like a very salty, dark black looking, shiny paste. That's the only way I can describe it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that doesn't.
It's
Even,
really nice.
is
Like,
it?
I'm pro Marmite.
Said the British people who eat it every day,
Oh,
who
God.
have
It
acquired
looks
its
like shoe
taste.
polish.
Yeah,
It looks like shoe polish. It tastes worse.
Oh,
All right.
right.
So, Andrew, what else here that was a first for you?
Eggs floating in water.
Scones. Yeah.
eggs.
Scones, cream and jam. Okay.
You're
Dab.
20.
Crumpet.
You're 25 different versions of milk and cream and butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
But our very poor breakfasts.
Yeah, you're no selective, no choice breakfast. It's this or nothing.
Hey, Andrew, did you have the little beans for breakfast?
Yeah.
The little.
What
Oh
is
yeah,
that?
beans on
Yeah.
toast, sausage,
Uh-huh.
bacon.
It tastes so different. Beans for breakfast.
I remember figuring out what a continental breakfast is in England. That's the first time I ever heard of it. Sorry. And they brought out these little beans. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not eating the eggs. Definitely I'm not. All right, but the beans look fine. So I take the bean, one of the beans, and I taste it, and it's sweet. How the hell? How are you making beans sweet? Like
just sugar, pretty much.
I'm like, what's happening to my life right now? Right, little syrupy little beans.
Well, David, you don't want to know what was in those beans because your vegetarian self back then wouldn't have liked it.
No, I asked them specifically. They said it's just beans.
Yeah, but the sauce is not vegetarian friendly.
It isn't?
No, God, no. It's barbecue sauce, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on. What beans are we talking about?
Look, when you get this English breakfast, they give you this thing, right?
Baked beans.
Baked beans.
Heinz baked beans.
No, it's not Heinz. I don't know what it is.
Well, baked beans anyway. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like,
you know that they cook the baked beans with ham.
Yes, they do.
You're so messed up, right?
Yes, they do.
David has had meat. We found out he's
specifically I'm a vegetarian. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, this is the first time I've ever seen beans for breakfast. I mean, like, there's when I was in England, there's so many things I had to get to reconfigure my mind to.
Yeah,
beans for breakfast. Marmite is a different taste completely. Completely different taste. What else is there? I had to reconfigure my mind to the fact that in certain parts of England it is going to rain every day.
Yeah.
Vines growing out of the walls in the house. Vines, like, I don't know what kind of vines these things are, but some of these houses, they have vines coming through the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's ivy.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes, ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a place called Leamington where you guys manicure the lawns. Like, y'all manicure the lawn.
There are
If you
other
don't do that, you're
areas too. But Andrew doesn't think the other areas are that point.
Nothing's
Because
posh
they're
to
not.
Andrew.
No, they're not.
Unless it's a billionaire house, which has got like a ranch.
I have to say, my favourite breakfasts are the ones here in Germany. When you go in the hotels, like when you're out in England and you're in a hotel, you know you're just going to get served some shit breakfast. It's going to be bacon, eggs, tomatoes, beans, toast. It's awful. You know, I'm so sick of it. Over here, there's all this different fruits, vegetables, meats, and salmon, all kinds of stuff served for breakfast. That's how to do it. That's the worst part about traveling in the UK was the food. In Scotland, you know, I ate more cakes and crisps than I have in years because I was just hungry and we're on the move. And there was at one point we were forced all to eat ham sandwiches.
We had a little pat lunch, didn't we? Sent us on our way.
Nowhere.
Shitty ham sandwiches at that.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible.
That was good. We had an excuse to get coffee and cake every day because we're on holiday.
We
holiday.
didn't need an excuse, Dale.
What are you talking about? Coffee and cake 4 times a day, Dale.
It wasn't 4 times. You could back me up on this. It was probably
breakfast,
once, maybe twice.
Breakfast cake. Cake when the bus would first stop somewhere. Okay. Cake when the bus would stop a second place before we'd leave. Yeah. And on the way home, there'd be another cake and then a cake after dinner.
And then when we were in the certain places, like when they had cafes in any of the attractions that we went to, there was always cakes. Remember, that's why I was eating the short caramel. What was it called? The millionaire shortbread or something?
Yes.
Well, and
so
on the berries as well.
Laura, the breakfast cakes are the blueberry muffins and the croissant stuffed with chocolates.
I'm not a big fan of croissants for breakfast. I need meat and lots of protein.
Mm-hmm. And cake.
And cake. Yeah, cake an hour after. So, guys, we've gone from the rites of passage. We've gone to the cake.
That's a rite of passage for you, Dale.
There we go. This is my rites of passage. Yeah.
That's your rites of passage.
So let's make an etheric cake then. what we're going to put into this
Yeah.
cake. And this cake is
Marmite.
Marmite.
No.
Hey, we had that Marmite though, didn't we? Remember we went to the restaurant in York and they actually creamed the Marmite in the butter. And they
Yes.
came out with those. That was really good, wasn't it? Yeah.
What? What did you just say?
So we went to this very high-class restaurant. It was one that Dale picked out. It was
Michelin star
one restaurant. The food was great. And they came out with some breads first before the meals, and they'd got butter and creamed Marmite within it, but they'd done it to the point where it was just salty, and so it was, there was a hint of the Marmite in the background, but it was a great way of doing it. I think I must have done that when I was a kid, messing around, but to serve it in a restaurant like that, perfection.
Yeah, that was a Michelin star restaurant too. I remember the look on Maddie's face. He's like, "There's Marmite in that."
That was great food.
Yeah, it was. I had the ox cheek.
That's right.
I had the oxy. I think I ordered pretty much majority of what you ordered, Andrew, the whole trip. Because that sounds fucking good. I'm gonna do it because you pushed my availability to try other things, and I usually try. But I was fucking sick of fish and chips.
Yes.
On the Demon Day, remember, on the Demon Day, I ate a steak like that. Remember that was like that. Just
now that I think of it, Andrew, you're a real bad influence.
Yes, I know.
This man making me eat vegan mac and cheese. Now, like I would listen. This is the first time I've had mac and cheese in my life, right? And they had like, what was it that they put in the mac and cheese? It was like
macadamia milk.
Macadamia.
Not macadamia. Oh, sorry. Macadamia, something and milk, some kind of nut milk. I forgot.
You remember the stupid smile I had on
Nutmeg.
my face?
Yes, no, it wasn't nutmeg. Yes, I do. It was for 3 days, David.
Yeah, that was totally. That was a foodgasm, really. That was like, what have I been missing all my life? All right. I've been looking for mac and cheese everywhere since that time. Vegan mac and cheese. I gotta go to get back there.
I had the best sushi today, and I don't like duck, but I had a duck that was done today where it was so tender and the outside was so crispy. It was in a Japanese restaurant, and it was absolutely stunning. You're missing out, David.
Laura, I'd like to bring you in here and let's roast Andrew for a bit. What's it like being with the snoring bear on a day to day, and what has he taught you, and what are some of the foods you've started to eat?
Oh my God, I've had to. So let's just start with what he's taught me. I've had to level up so many things because you can't get away with anything, even if he's teasing you about something. Because there's something in there that will trigger you, and that you can't get away with anything when the Galactic Historian is your guest. So it's been very, very, very good for me. I've had a huge growth because basically I've been Andrew and I've sort of been together through the coach tour, and then at my house, I think, Andrew, isn't it? So obviously we've got to know each other really well. Me tremendously with my relationships. He's given me another perspective on things. There are just so many things. And he prods you all the time. Just gently, sometimes quite harshly.
Said the oversensitive woman. Said the oversensitive woman.
Sometimes a bit too hard, Andrew.
Said the oversensitive woman. Hold on.
Man, yes. So but I did take it well, and I did make adjustments, and I thank you because of it, and I feel better in myself. And sometimes you don't even realize he is that subtle with it. You don't realize that he's taking you to another level. It was wonderful, but I do need a break because I need to process.
Said the stubborn woman that goes go 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 go. Didn't want to hear that one.
I've heard
So
it.
everybody that's listening, you've got to understand that Laura and Andrew have been side by side for weeks and weeks and weeks. Even when we were in Scotland, they shared a room together. And then, then we were together in the house. And then, so they've been together for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we've been joking they're like an old married couple.
Yes.
That's how they behave.
And we do sometimes sort of fall out.
No, don't say fall out. You have to fall into processing.
I have to now I've got some time, a month off or so before York too, and it's something I need to do. But I do really appreciate everything he's done. He's really helped me tremendously. Yeah, and on the food front, we've been out to eat with friends and had good meals at home and eaten out good meals, haven't we, Andrew? What's your favourite?
Oh yeah.
What's your favourite?
Stilton sauce, whenever you're cooking the Stilton sauce. That pasta and mushrooms we had at the Lamb Inn was very memorable. The lamb we cooked was good.
Oh,
a bunch of the other stuff too.
Yeah.
How many times did Laura cook, Andrew?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
I did say to him, I have cooked for 40 years, brought 2 stepchildren and 2 of my own, and then 4 grandchildren. A while ago, I needed to retire grandma. So along with retiring grandma went the cooking, everything else. I just don't do that so much in any way.
She got rid of her cooking utensils. She got rid of her cooking utensils. And I had to go rearrange her drawers because there weren't lids to pots or pans.
Stop saying that on a public broadcast. All right,
I had to rearrange your pants.
We have English people in the chat.
Yes, I know. I said that on purpose.
Talking about.
Yes, I said that. Like, I would also say, Laura, do you want your pants as we're going to the car?
And he meant trousers, guys.
Okay. No, I meant pants, English pants, British American pants.
Yeah, American
trousers, yes.
English trousers. Okay. No. But no, it was great fun. And I don't know, what's your perspective?
Oh, it was wonderful. I mean, I don't know how many times I tell you, our arguing like a married couple was very funny, actually. Mm-hmm. I mean, that first night we were laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing.
Yeah.
And they weren't real arguments as much as they were just pointing things out, and we were laughing as we're pointing them out. Mm. Like when the crazy drunk people were underneath the windows at Inverness all night long. Darling, that won't be us one day.
So, Laura, I want to change the direction a little bit. So, when you first started doing shows with Andrew, and from how you are now, and like how you can really, you're a presenter now, you're a professional. How has it been for you from the first Laura who came on the shows, who had that meekness, which I did as well? I had a meekness about me. What was it like for you going through those changes?
One who wanted to hug a Karen. I'm just going to say that before you guys do, because that's what a tremendous growth. I mean, a huge growth. And years ago, I put Andrew on a pedestal where he hates to be, and I used to do that, a lot of us, and it took me a while to get out of that, even slightly when we first started the shows. But going on 2 medicine journeys with Andrew and doing mentorship and getting to know him. But it was after doing the shows together, and I was nervous because it's Andrew, and you want to you've learnt the material and that you practice it, and like we were saying earlier, the experience of it, you're just not repeating what he says. So the first were quite tough because there's a part of me that sort of had some to show I was worthy of the place he'd given me. I felt very honoured that, us 2 Feathers Medicine to work with. This was like Andrew, for goodness sake, you know, slightly nerve-wracking, and then the more shows we did and the more confidence I got and the more it's such a nice, relaxed, joyful experience. And he's just elevated. Just I've level up, as I keep saying, and that's the best word to use where Andrew's concerned. You know, call you out on your shit, and it's only
what was it like?
So you grow.
What was it like for you, Laura, going through the rites of passage of being a light worker to the Laura, the shaman today?
The rites of passage is a wheel, isn't it? It's the medicine wheel. You're going to go from paths of transformation. So you've got to do it. If you are there yet, it's something I'm continually doing. I'm continually revisiting all these nations on sort of like another level and then another level. And it's something I will, the more you do it and the more you apply the teachings, I just think of life. That's what I'd say. You just are able, I'm more joyful as well. And the quality, I've got more of than I've ever had. Yeah, I'm much more together. I feel much more common. I love the healing, the combined healings that we do. I couldn't have done that a year ago, but now there's just so many things. We've learned so many different skills, and also through you guys, all of you here on the show tonight, I've learned from fabulous community that we've got going here.
And remembering to have fun and how important it is to have fun, like banter as well, and taking the piss out of each other it's kept us going. Like always making the fun out of a situation, or always having banter back and forth. That's just stuff's important, and to not allow it to affect you or get triggered in any way if someone gives you some banter.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where Andrew fits in straight away, because he's already got that British kind of humour. Came in ready for it. Andrew was fitted in perfectly.
Well, I have raised my children well.
We're out of the nest now. We're flying.
That's what I was going to say about the U-turn energy, is that, you know, the U-turn thing where all of a sudden we think we're doing something, and then, oh no, we're doing something else. What I learned was that, well, we've learned everything already, because in the 10 plus years that each one of us has individually been studying the material, and those moments where it's like we're doing a U-turn, but we already know what needs to be known, you know, and it was that really got me comfortable. It's all in there anyway. It
was also me not wanting to do lightworker shows.
Exactly.
In the beginning, steering you away from everything, because that's all you do is lightworker.
Yeah. Serious.
Yeah, right. We've got to teach them everything they need to know in 1 hour.
Yeah, serious.
What's your take on lightworkers, David? I've not heard you speak about them.
I'm the worst person to ask that question. My take on lightworkers. That's a loaded question for me. Let me see now. I remember having these kinds of discussions with Andrew. You remember those discussions, Andrew?
Oh, yes.
Right. I'm like, are these people going to be just continually serious with themselves all the time?
Yep.
Right. To this day, it used to be annoying. Oh, that's your flight. Right. It used to be annoying to me. Now it's just funny. Now, Amy and I have jokes about lightworkers because they come on the show with a scowl on their face, kind of like the puritanical, like you sinners, all right?
Yeah. Yes.
They come on the show. You sinners, all of you are sinners. Y'all are not worthy. And you know, my imagination goes places with these people, like scowl at me, baby, scowl at me. But anyway, my point is. Right, what do I think about lightworkers? Like, please take the serious stick up your ass. Life is too short to be all all into yourselves and so on. And it's another kind of narcissism, really, when you think that people are not seeing the light. They're seeing the light, they're just not dealing with the scowl on your face. All right. And a lot of people, I find it difficult to believe that, Dale, you are actually a light worker. I can't believe that. Maty, you too. I can't imagine that.
It was a lonely time. It was a lonely time.
It was a lonely time, correct?
It was fucking lonely. Really, really lonely.
I did it all, David. I did it all.
Light worker shit. I can't imagine your guys in that frame. I can't. And Amy told me just recently that she was one of those light workers with a stick up her ass. Can you imagine her?
Wait.
Light worker syndrome on her? Like,
yes, I can.
You can?
I can.
I didn't even know what a light worker was. I didn't even know what I was doing.
That's being a light worker.
Being a
The definition of it.
Yeah, no definition. Oh my God. But no more. I took it out. I took the stick out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Surgically removed it.
yeah, myself. It feels
right.
good. It feels good, guys. Try it. It feels good.
The regularity has returned.
Yes.
Right. Everything
feels good to be a human, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Was it anal cranial inversion?
Anal cranial inversion.
Anal cranial inversion.
No, cradle anal inversion
Cranial anal inversion
syndrome. Head up your ass syndrome.
Oh boy.
So, Amy, what does it take to get the stick out of people's asses if they're wanting to do shows?
Gosh. Watch comedies. Hang around people that laugh and joke and just laugh at yourself. I couldn't do that. I couldn't laugh at myself. Oh, and especially coming from a big family, people, they were funny. My brothers and sisters were kind of funny, and yet I took them like, meh. Like I didn't understand. Like it's just supposed to have fun. You're just supposed to like let it down, let the walls down, and just laugh at yourself, even when you trip and fall on the floor.
Yeah. One of the funniest things that we did when we were away was Andrew taught one of Dale's sons who has autism. He taught him to say, "These nuts." It was so
he farts, and when he's about to fart, he says, "These nuts," and drops one.
What did I do?
Andrew said, you taught, oh gosh, what's his name, little man?
Heath.
Heath, that's it. And he said to him, "These nuts," and you could just see it go in his eyes, and it sunk in. It was so hilarious. These nuts.
And then the farting, don't forget. Gotta go pull my finger.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That was my contribution to Dale's parent raising, along with bribe your children.
Owing money.
Make them owe you money. Yep. And I get the two kids up to betting up to owing me $300.
Yes.
And I put the debt on Dale.
Yeah.
They now owe you. Dale bought the marker.
Oh man.
Funny stuff. Some of it was so crazy. That's why it was funny, because you can't believe it. You're actually going through it. And we're doing the therapies, and some of the things that would arise. I mean, the first day was bonkers, wasn't it? First day was.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had to have a sense of humor, otherwise we'd have been destroyed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
As universe testing us.
Yes. Yep. So looking back, we've got 15 minutes left of the show. Let's look back at some of the shows we did. Maty, does any of the shows stick out for you, or any experience we had you want to share?
I think there are so many. It's so hard to pick anyone, but I have to say that some of the shows where we was doing the communications, this is a personal thing, this is for me, when I was having some of the communications coming in and having to filter the information, translate it, relay it to Andrew, listen to his response, process that response, and try to keep that flow going. It got me a whole new appreciation for what Andrew was doing those whole years as I was watching him, from 2013 onwards. That one blew my mind. Yeah, those couple of shows, it just gave me a great appreciation for how difficult it is to do what he does on a weekly, daily basis.
Thank you, Maty. And Laura, what about for you? Laura, in the past, Massey, are you
the
there?
light language show.
Mm.
Can you hear me? Am I here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
No, you're not.
So the light language shows, and also the light worker show with Andrew. We did a light worker show right early on, Dale. One of the ones I did with you. We had such fun remembering all the stuff we were doing as light workers. Yeah, that transferred across to one I think we did with Andrew. I don't know whether there was a light worker show, Andrew, in the doom and gloom.
It was one of the where I was trying to break you guys of light workering early on, because it's all you do. We try to have a show meeting, light worker show, light worker. It was all this light worker questions, and I even have to say light worker question. So I did whatever I could do to break you of being light workers. So there's quite a few of those.
Yeah, there was. And shows, and the light language shows are also really well received. People love those. Got an audience that really interacts with you, because that's what we're there for.
Right.
And Andrew, it's a bit of a hard question, I feel, for you potentially, because you've done so many shows about so many different things. Different type of question I want to ask you is, what's your personal favorite type of shows to do?
That's like trying to ask what's your favorite movie.
In the now, the Andrew of the now.
It's still going to come down to the ingredients that are involved in it, like the type of people that I'm working with. How far can I push it? Are these people able to handle my frequency? If it's like working with somebody like David, who has a context that's through the roof, then you're like, we can go in any direction, and there's a salivation to that type of energy, meaning, yes, I can go in any direction, any way. And then there are the ones where it's laser focused, where David doesn't give a crap about this or that subject, but he knows what it is. But I can nail it down with Maty or you. So again, it's going to come down to the person's capacity to give back and equal co-creation, as well as over co-creation. There are times David and I did stuff where we're over co-creating, but we're not competing to each other. It's just because we're so excited to reach this next level of stuff. And even though half the people in the audience can't understand a word we're saying, it doesn't matter. Okay. So when you reach those types of push levels, how far can we push it? That ultimately is the best type of shows to do. Is how far can I push it? And if I can keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until there are no boundaries, no borders, no nothing. It is what it is.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And that's the same with me. I don't think I have a personal favorite show. I think every show has different, like you say, Andrew, ingredients and different attributes and different feelings and so on. And there's always a show where I'm like, damn, this is my favorite show. Then the next show is, damn, this is my favorite show. So it's quite a tough one to answer that. Yeah. David, what about you? From all the shows you've done, is there any flavor which you like to talk about?
I love being put on the spot in live call-in shows. I love that. And I'll tell you why this is my favorite show. Because it's real people. There's lightworkers are a dime a dozen. The lightworkers who can come on a show that is live and being telecast and have somebody dial in and ask you a direct question is the lightworker you want to deal with. And I'll tell you why. Because that individual has to know their shit backward, forward, up, and down. That's why I'm working with you guys.
Mm-hmm. David, you remember that first show? How good it felt? Yes.
It was like, oh, like all the philosophies coming off the top of my head. like all the philosophies is coming off the top of my head. I'm like, all the things that you think about. Once again, it's Andrew. It's like I told you, people who put themselves on the line like you guys are doing right now, you have a whole audience watching y'all. Some of them might say some shit to y'all in the comments and so on, and you do not care. You're talking about Rites of Passage, which was the original title of that show. That in and of itself is a rite of passage. I'm going to give special props to Meek and Mild, Amy Kruzic, who is no longer Meek and Mild at all, because that was a big jump you just made. I remember having a discussion just recently, and I want to get back to Andrew's point with Amy, and she's saying, I don't think I've developed enough. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Okay, what are you talking about? What you're on a show, okay? So I think the best thing is this live call-in show. Amy's on a live call-in show. Somebody might call in, right? And say, okay, tell me about this. And you have to know your shit. So that's my favorite show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. And Amy, for you.
Hold on real quick. Yeah. And David, when we did those shows where people were calling them from the bathtub, those were some of the best ones.
I remember those.
You listen, you can't make this shit up literally and figuratively. You remember that show that I decided to get into the bathtub because I got tired of people calling it from the bathtub?
Yes.
So I decided to get into the bathtub my own damn self. That's the show that I like, yes.
You can't get away with speaking in a bathtub and pretending not to be in a bathtub. There's a sound, isn't there, when you're in that bath?
The water sounds in the background. Oh, God, I love those shows.
Can't hide shit.
That's great. Yeah, so I don't have quite a history that you guys have yet, but I mean, goodness, just having the opportunity to be on the shows is always a stage of growth, adding a brick to my growth. And I still, so the last show, not the last show, but the sex show, I was like, oh no, I know I can't make an excuse not to come on. You know?
You had a headache?
I had a headache, right? But it was like, oh no, okay, but see, I had to push through that. Like, okay, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go on. It's like that, just that self-talk, that self, I don't know, but I don't remember your topics of the shows that I was on because I was in the moment, so I don't even remember.
Hanging on.
What?
Hanging on.
Hanging on.
That's what it's like in first. Yeah, like that's what it's like at first, right? Oh!
Yes. I just appreciate all of you, and just wow, it's hard to even express what I feel for all of you, and the audience. I mean, it's all, they come back and they come back and they come back, every week. So I appreciate those people that do comment, because that helps us in our growth too. To see your questions,
especially if it's funny, or really
especially fun. Yeah.
And everyone watching, listening, you're part of the show as well. Yeah. You're very important, because without you, this show wouldn't exist. And everyone coming here today, going through their own rites of passage, the hardness, the easiness, the lows, the aboves, everything we go through makes us who we are. And for me, I've gone through darkness, I've gone through happiness and so on. But my own words and my own feelings come from faith now. And that's what's guided me here today to do the 100th show, is having faith so embedded within me now that it's just part of me. There's no separation anymore. And there's a knowingness, there's a trust. Even when shit goes a bit south sometimes, just letting it go and not allowing it to really ruin me anymore. If there's chaos, allow the chaos to play out, but don't allow it to change me like I used to. Allow it to affect my own growth again. And I just want to say I love you guys, and for all those listening, and I really appreciate it. And 100, here we are. So we are now at the end of this 100th show, and we'll be back next week with 101 show. So guys, if you can, Maty, do you want to go first? How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, okay, guys. So if you want to get a hold of me for psychic surgery or any other means, go to twofeathersmedicine.com, click on my picture or my name, go to my site, and there's a link there for you to be able to email me.
Thank you, Robert. David?
If you want to get a hold of me, it is info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. You guys can actually just message me whenever, and check out my show, which is UCM Vibe, which is on Wednesdays.
Thank you, David. Amy?
Yeah, so my show is called Unscripted, and I do it. We record. It's 20 minutes. Anybody interested in being a guest, that would be awesome. And you can connect with me through Facebook Messenger.
Beautiful. Thank you, Amy. Andrew?
You guys generally know who I am. Let me go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. We have a mentorship class that'll be starting in about 2 weeks. So for those of you who have now been wanting to do a mentorship class with me, now is their time. Spots are limited, so rush on down to andrewbartzis.com and sign up for that mentorship class. Alternatively, we have sessions that are available. I want to let everyone know we have a brand new automated booking system created by the ever wonderful David Ellis, who has mastermind the automated booking system. So for all of you that have been having issues in the past, the automated booking system will take care of you.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And Laura?
Yeah, if you want to learn how to be a being of the now, yet speak 2 minutes in the past, then come and have a session to feathers@gmail.com. Also, email me if you'd like to. Amazing combined therapies. We will be in York from the 28th of September. Also, have a look if you're interested. I can send you the email now. There's lots of stuff about it on Facebook. Lots of really from people. So have a read and come and join us in York if you'd like to. There's 3 and 5 day packages, and you'll get everything that week. So just email me, Laura, to feathers2@gmail.com. Great show, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. And if anybody would like soul surgery with myself, visit daletobin.com. I also have psychic surgery training coming up on the 15th and 16th of this month. Also, I'm doing a special offer. If you sign up for the psychic surgery training, you get a free session with me. And I just want to say again, thank you for all of those listening and all of the comments. We really do appreciate you guys. Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
At home, motherfuckers.